We're going to start chapter 13 by looking at angles. So a few types of angles that we need to be familiar with. The first one is an acute angle, and this is just going to be any angle that measures between 0 and 90 degrees. This basically is anything less than a right angle. So an angle that is acute might look something like this. And the way you would write or name this angle, we have the angle where you have ray DE and you are rotating it to the ray EF. This would be angle DEF. Or you could do this angle FED, but that would be thinking of the rotation from the other direction, which is fine. But the thing to keep in mind here is that the vertex, that point there in the middle, that letter always has to be in the middle of the name. Sometimes you'll even see this as described as just angle E if it's clear that there's only one angle that's using vertex E. Now we have an obtuse angle, and this is just going to be an angle that is between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. And it might look something like this, something that is greater than a right angle, but it's not all the way to a straight angle. And so if we have this one labeled GHJ, then the angle that we're getting by rotating those rays, we could say angle H, we could say angle GHJ, or angle JHG. Now we also want to describe angles in terms of how they're related to other angles. So if you have an adjacent angle, it just means that these two angles will have a common vertex and a side in common. And it doesn't matter what types of angles, if they're obtuse or acute or right. Your adjacent angles would be something like this, where you can see that they both are there at vertex A, and they share the side AC. So angle DAC and angle BAC are adjacent. We also have vertical angles, and these are angles that are formed by crossing two lines, and they have a common vertex, and we're talking about the angles that are opposite each other. With these vertical angles, they will be equal. So when you have these intersecting lines, you're actually creating two pairs of vertical angles. They intersect at the vertex, and the two pairs in this case would be AOD and angle BOC. So you notice that those two angles are opposite each other. And then we also could do angle AOB and angle COB. D. And again, the order of the letters doesn't matter as long as O is in the middle of the 3 letters here, because O is the vertex. Now, when we had just one angle, I said it was okay to describe that angle with just a single letter. But for the adjacent and the vertical angles, you would not be able to use a single letter because there are multiple angles sharing that same vertex.